Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Monday to you. And hopefully everyone had a great Easter weekend. I'm Sandra. I'm the admin for I Do in the Caribbean Facebook group. And I'm also a destination wedding planner and a travel advisor, travel agent. And my specialty is that I help couples plan their destination wedding in the Caribbean or Mexico. So today I would just want to talk about my step-by-step process if you would like to use my services, what that entail, and to just give people an understanding of what I do so you can be clear as to what my process is and if this could be something that you would want or help in helping you plan your wedding. So most times my process begins with a couple or a bride reaching out to me and saying they want to have a consultation with me to see if we're going to be a good fit. So once I get contacted that they want to schedule a consultation with me, I would send them an email with my calendar link in there so they can schedule a time that's convenient for them. And I would also send them my destination wedding checklist. So once I send my destination wedding questionnaire with them and they filled it out and they set up a meeting with me, the next thing I would do would be review their questionnaire to make sure that I understand what they're looking for in their wedding. So within the questionnaire, it's going to ask information about the couple, what wedding date you're looking for, the budget they're looking for, if they're in a specific country they're looking at, any resort they like in mind. I also ask them questions about the resort, like what are they looking for in a resort? Do they want luxury? Do they want, it doesn't really matter, is beach important to them? Is entertainment important to them? So I'm trying to get a feel for what's important to the client. So when we meet, I can get a better understanding of what they're looking for. So when we meet, and normally I try to do a Zoom call, and normally it's with the bride and the groom, and they'll be on a Zoom call with me, and we'll go through the questionnaire just to make sure I understand really what's in their questionnaire, and they understand, so I can better understand what they're looking for to see if I can actually help them plan their wedding. So once we're done going over the details of the questionnaire, the next thing I would do is to discuss my services. I go through what I'm offering and also my fee structure. So they'll get an understanding is if they're working with me, what they can expect and what they can get from me. And then I give them my fee structure. If at the end of the conversation, the couple say yes, or they need time to think about it, they think about it and they can get back to me. Yes, they want to use my service, or no, they don't want to use my service. And if it's no, that is where I guess our conversation kind of ends. I'm not going to force anyone to work with me. But if they say yes, what I would do is I would send them my invoice with my fee, and also I would send them a copy of the servicing contract. So, they know exactly what they're getting, and my fee is non-refundable. So once they pay it, these are the services that I'm going to provide. So once they say yes, and we send them the invoice and also my service contract, and that's signed, then that's when we move on to the next step. So the first step really is understanding what the couple is looking for their wedding, what country they want to be in, their budget, understanding what kind of vision they have for their wedding, and then us discussing my service fee and what I charge for my service and what they can expect from me. And if we both agree that it's a good fit, then we move on to the next step. So they'll pay, and then I will move on to step 2. So step 2 really entails me creating that proposal for them based on their vision. So I would select at least 3 resorts, and I would prepare the wedding package and an estimate of what the room cost could be. So once I prepare this, I send it to the couple, and they will meet again to discuss the details of the proposal. And within the proposal, I'm trying to give them an idea of what the cost is going to be for their wedding, depending on the number of persons that might be attending their wedding. So it's just give them a good idea of where their budget is, what the room's going to cost, so they can know if it's going to be not too expensive for their guests, or where that budget is, so they'll know is this a good resort for them, so they can make an informed decision based on the wedding packages itself, the number of guests they're expecting and what the room cost is going to be, and also that the resort will have the vision they're looking for. If they're looking for a beautiful beach, they want a gazebo. So we're looking at all the things that they're looking for and trying to find that in that resort that will have their wedding. So once we meet and the couple pick a resort from the ones that I have given them in the proposal, my next step would be to confirm their wedding date and time. So that's very important. And when I create a proposal, I am contacting the various wedding departments in the resort just to make sure that if I'm working with a client and their date is May 20th, 2022, that date is available, because it wouldn't make sense for me to propose a resort and then the resort, the wedding date they're looking for is not available. So as soon as they pick a resort, my next step would be to make sure that we can secure the wedding date and time for the couple. Normally to secure the wedding date, would email the wedding department. They would send a link, an authorization link for the couple to make the payment on a deposit. A deposit can be anywhere between $300 to $700. It all depends on the resort. So that deposit secures their wedding date and time. So once we have the wedding date and time secured, our next step in my process would be to get an actual group contract now for the group. So depending on the group, if it's a group of 40, so if 40 could be in 20 rooms or 15 rooms. So that's how we're going to gauge how much room we're going to have in the group contract. So what I normally do is I would send the couple a list of all the room categories at the resort so they can select what room they would want to be in this group. So most times the couple will reach out to family and friends to see if I'm booking this resort, what kind of room do you want? Do you want a swim out room? Do you want an ocean view room? Do you want the cheapest room? So we end up picking a combination of rooms. So I always try to tell the couple to pick a nice room for themselves, like a 1-bedroom or a honeymoon room, because they want to have a nice room because they're going to get married and afterwards they're going to have their honeymoon. So I always suggest select a room that is for you, a 1-bedroom or something that's an elevated service, because you're getting married, you want to be in a nice room. So once we finalize the number of rooms we want and the type of rooms we want, I will reach out to my vendor and get a group contract. Once the group contract, we get the rooms, it becomes finalized, then normally we'd have to make a deposit to hold those rooms. And it all depends on the resort and the supplier. Right now, the last room contract that I did, the deposit was only $500 for 20 rooms. And that's really, to me, very cheap compared to most times it's $100 a room. So if you reserve 20 rooms, you'd have to be putting up $2,000 to reserve the room. So I, try to inform the couple about what a group contract is, when, that they're going to be responsible for these rooms that we're holding. And if they can't book the rooms within a certain time frame, then we'd have to release them without any kind of penalty. So I try to stay up to date with the dates things need to be done, finalized and finished, and make sure that the couples are not going to be, liable for any particular rooms that are unbooked. So that's one of the things that I try to do to make sure I keep on top of all the different dates, whether it's the wedding package when that final payment is due, or if it's a group contract when the final payment is due, to make sure that all the rooms are booked and paid on time, so everything will run smoothly. So after we confirm the group contract for the wedding, the next step would be I create a web page for the couple. So on that web page, I'm going to have the couple's name, the date they're going to get married, a little story about them if they want to write a love story, pictures of them so people can, relate to them and know who they are. Also, I will have the details of the wedding, what time the ceremony is going to be, where it's going to be located, if they're having a cocktail, where that is, what time that is, the reception, where that's going to be also on the time. Also, some couples want to do all white affair. So I would try to put that on the webpage so people know when they come on it, they'll read to see what events, if anything, the couple is going to have during the wedding. So I try to put all that information on the webpage, including the resort and how much the rooms cost and how to contact me, because I'm going to be responsible for booking all the accommodations for all the guests who's coming to the wedding. The other thing is that there is normally a link to book directly. So the guests don't really have to call me directly. They can actually book their rooms themselves and have control over the dates they want and how many rooms they want to book and how many nights they want to stay. So, that's where I will help the couple coordinate all the accommodations for the guests. They'll come through me, I'll book it for them, and ensure that even on the web page, if there's any travel requirements, that they need to fulfill, if they need a passport or older passport should be. So any information that I think is relevant for the wedding group to know about is going to be on the web page, so everyone will be aware of what's going on. So any updates and details will be on there. Also, I will definitely keep the couple up to date as to who's booking the rooms, how many rooms we have left, to make sure that, if there's people who haven't contacted me yet, they'll reach out to them and tell them contact Sandra so the rooms can be booked. Also, part of it is just making sure that we know who's booking what. And I often tell most of the couples, if you're doing an e-invite, to add me to the list, so at least I know who's invited, so I can look out for people calling me and I know who these people are because I know they're on this invite list. The other thing I'll provide for the wedding guests and even the couple is if they want tours and activities and excursions during the wedding time, if people are coming to the wedding but they also are on vacation. So I will do a list of all the excursion and tours that's available near the resort, and if they want to book, I can also do that for them. I also look if there's enough people going to see if we can get a group rate for the activity or tour that the group might want to do. So this is what I will be doing in step 2, is just making sure all the wedding guests are booked, the couple is taken care of, and most of the communications are going through me. So part of being the planner and making sure everything stay on target is to just make sure to know what all the due dates are. And most resort, the due dates for the group is normally 60 days before the wedding. So 60 days before the wedding, everybody should be making their final payment. We should know what the final head count is for the amount of people that are coming to the wedding. And that goes in hand with the wedding package. So the wedding package is based on the number of people that are going to be there. So most package that starts at 20 people, and if you can have 40, you have to multiply that by the additional cost for the additional person coming. So the couple needs to know how many people are actually going to be at the wedding so they can finalize the wedding package and finalize all the other details of the wedding. And most destination wedding, the wedding planning part of it doesn't really start till 90 to 60 days before the wedding, because the resort is doing weddings every day, so they don't really go into detail until like close to your wedding date. So at that point, the couple will be working with the wedding department in the resort to help them plan the details of their wedding. And I always tell the couples, if they need my help in helping with the details, just understanding what they need to do, photography, decor, DJs, just any, if they have questions about the wedding planning itself, that they can contact me, and I'll be happy to be as involved or not as involved as they want. But I try to keep them on target, try to give them any kind of insights I have as to, do they need this? Do they not need that? Anywhere that they can save money and also have that wedding that they've always wanted. So, I support them. I make sure that they're on track. I make sure that all the rooms are booked and paid and all that is done. So that's part of the final step in step 3. So at the end of the step, once everything is paid for, the wedding package is paid for, all the rooms are paid for, all the bride has to do now is just get prepared to actually go to destination. So 1 week before, I would say, that's the time I would tell the guests to utilize a packing list so nothing is missed. So you keep a list of all the things you need to take with you, whether documentation, certain garments, certain things that you really need. You need to make sure you do a checklist so you don't forget anything, because I always tell people you need to just check and double check that you have everything you need. And, sometimes there is a wedding kit, like it's a kit that I've seen it before that has just miscellaneous stuff in there, like buttons and pins and needles, because you just never know what is going to break when you're on vacation or at your wedding and you don't have access to this information because you're not at home. So, and also I just make sure that all the guests would have had all their final itinerary and know what to do when it's time for them to travel. On the day of trip, I check in again to make sure everyone is doing fine. Everybody's making it to the destination on time. If anyone has any issues, they would reach out to me and I would try to resolve that. So I try to make myself available during the wedding time to make sure that all the guests are arriving at the resort on time. There's nothing going crazy at the resort that I don't know about. So I try to keep in touch with the couple, through text, through WhatsApp, to make sure they've arrived there at the resort. Everything is going fine. I also reach out to the wedding coordinator to make sure everything is on schedule, so there's no surprises and everything is going as well as it should be. So that is what I do. And what I do is also monitor all the guests once they're out on the resort till they actually get home. So I just make sure that everybody gets back on their transfer, gets back on their flight, and they make it home safely. So my process starts from the beginning, from the consultation, from them hiring me to help them plan their wedding, to actually when the wedding is completed and they're on their way home and they make it back to the US safely. So that is my step-by-step process of what I do during the planning process for my couple. So as I said, if you're looking for someone to help you plan your destination wedding and you don't know where to begin and you just need some help, you can book a consultation with me. You can send me a message and I will be more likely to send you my calendar so you can book a consultation. And if you have questions and you need help just with different things, in regards to your wedding, you can leave me a message too, and I'll be more than happy to help you answer any questions or probably lead you, point you in the right direction. So that is my step-by-step process for my planning of destination wedding. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and I will see you next year, 3 p.m. every Monday with something around destination weddings. Bye.